Hey, Rafe Spawn, Esther Smith. Hey, thanks so much for joining us on WTOP.
It's a great pleasure. Thank you for having us indeed.
Now we're here talking Trying season 3 on Apple TV Plus. My wife and I absolutely love this show. We discovered it in season 1 and are hooked. Not only is it hilarious, but it's heartwarming and on a subject that a lot of shows don't really talk about, So do you get a lot of fans coming up saying, hey, thank you, we're struggling with pregnancy or navigating this adoption thing? Like, do you get people that say, hey, thanks, this really means a lot to have a show of what we're going through?
Yeah. Do you know what? That's been one of the most lovely kind of bonuses from doing a job that we both enjoy doing, is having that connection with people who are either going through the adoption process, or they're going through fertility issues, reaching out and talking about their very personal journeys. And it's so humbling, and it's just so lovely to know that you're representing something which makes people feel less alone in it, I think, because it's a hard journey with lots of ups and downs. So I'm glad that we get to show that, and it offered some kind of, I guess, comfort in it, I guess. Yeah,
because it's a pretty much still a taboo subject, the idea of infertility. People don't talk about it much, and it's not really represented in much of the public discourse. But it's a thing that affects 1 in 7 people, and so to be able to do a show where bringing those stories to the fore is great, but also with a comedic tone, because I think it's a very human way of getting through difficult times, is to use humor to deal with trauma. And I think to create a TV show that bridges those two things, those two tones, drama, pathos and comedy is difficult, and more difficult, I think, than a lot of people realize, which is why there aren't that many shows that do it well. And so I'm really proud that the writers and creators of our show have enabled that, have made that happen. I think we've done a pretty good job at that.
Oh, you walked that line perfectly. It's you warms your heart, but then you're laughing the next second. It's great. Now, do you obviously, with the 2 child actors that play Tyler and Princess, I love that that's their names, but has it been sort of a similar experience for you as actors? Your characters are trying to bond with these kids on screen, but is in a weird way, is it as actors you're sort of, they're your adopted kids too? Like, is that bonding process similar to what your characters go through, you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think so, definitely. It's because also they're new people on set that you're going to be working with, and I think, like, regardless if they're children or adults, it's still, you want to be able to bond and try and be friends with them. I think really hilariously, similarly to Nikki, I think I so desperately tried to be fun with them. I not necessarily sure they saw me as the fun one out of the 2 of us. I don't think. I tried really hard.
No, but I guess you're, it's funny. It's like, I've got kids myself, so I'm not afraid of telling kids off, right? And it's like, my experience with kids is they love to have boundaries, they love to know where they are with you.
Right.
And, like, it's not like I'm screaming at them, never, but like sometimes if they were, a little out of line, which they rarely were, then you tell them. And they love that. Like me, do you know what I mean? Like Mickey,
yeah.
If I would like tell Mickey to stop doing something, it would, like, he was very drawn to me, Mickey, and I him. He's a lovely young man, and as is Eden. They're great kids, and they were fantastic to have around. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and there's so many likable moments where, like, between your characters, Nikki and Jason, when they're interacting with the kids, it's like, for instance, like for Jason, I'm just trying to think, when you burst into the classroom in the hazmat suit to save the day, or for Nikki, getting the tattoo to match the adopted daughter's birthmark, or the birthday party when you're under the table putting the little things on the guest shoes. Like, when you read those moments in the script, they're just little character moments, but do you just like grin ear to ear that, oh wow, I get to go play this, or some of that improvised too?
Yeah, oh my gosh, absolutely, absolutely. I think that's what's so brilliant about Andy, who wrote, literally has written every single episode. You know that you're going to turn the page and you're going to feel something. You're going to either be laughing or crying, and those kind of little, tiny little moments, they're just so unexpected and just so beautiful. And yeah, yeah, it's well, it's like you said, it's just like grinning from ear to ear. It just makes you feel really warm, just even reading it, and then doing it is yeah, yeah, really lovely.
Yeah, and also like you read it, and the bits that are really moving always make me cry when I read the script. And when I watch the show, it still makes me laugh and makes me cry, even though I know what's going to happen. That's testament to the quality of the show. I think is that even me who was there nearly every day, I'm still surprised and delighted by it.
That is the test, I guess. And for us, if we ever go back and rewatch it, we'll know it's going to happen and still laugh anyway.
Yeah.
And just before we move off of the subject of the kids really quick, I have to say I love that the boy's best friend is a desk lamp named Adam.
But you really, it's so funny because I think you really believe it. Then you actually really feel like in episode 3 when Adam gets like lost, and then you find him and he's hurt. I don't know. I really worry about him.
Oh, that lamp. That was really good acting by Adam by the lamp. I mean, I think I saw his previous work in the Pixar credits. That lamp is incredible. Brilliant. But it's not just the lamps and the kids. You two as actors I gotta say, you have such great chemistry together. So, make the other blush really quick. What what makes Rafe such a good Jason, and then go the other way. Tell us why you think Esther is so great as a screen partner as Nikki.
Rafe is a good Jason because he is one of the warmest people I think you'll ever meet. So naturally funny, a real goofball at times, and then incredibly serious and conscientious and completely generous with his acting, and incredibly clumsy as well.
All right, now the other way.
You play in the show?
I played Nikki.
You play Nikki,
not Adam.
No, look, I mean, all of that warmth and empathy and sense of fun that you see in Nikki, that's all Esther. That all comes from her. She's one of my favorite people, and one of the like great parts of making this show is that I got to know her, and I get to hang out with her, and also she makes it look so easy, right?
Yeah,
she's usually got really complicated sentences to say that you wouldn't know that watching it, but I know as an actor how difficult a lot of the stuff that she does is, and how easy she makes it seem. And that's like serious. It might look easy, but it's the opposite of it. That kind of light, hitting every single joke, hitting every single beat, whilst at the same time as being absolutely truthful, there's only a very, very small group of people who can do that in the world, and she's one of them.
Oh yeah, well, the two of you carry the whole thing, but it's not just you two. I mean, the whole supporting cast is great, and I've really enjoyed what some of the supporting characters are up to here in season 3 so far. We got to see where else it goes, but I laugh every time I see the brother-in-law with Scott, where he's reading highbrow literature to Karen's pregnant belly. or what was the other guy? Oh, Freddie. He was such a jerk in previous seasons, but they're starting to redeem him a little bit with his A-Holes Anonymous support group. But just talk about how, just being around such a deep bench, and you guys, getting to watch these characters grow and have their own little character arcs. That really makes the show special to me.
I love that. I love that about this season as well, is that we really do get to see those characters more. And it's also nice because the scenes that we're not involved in, when you see them all put together, it's always a surprise, and it's always yeah, like I love the Karen and Scott storyline. That really, that really breaks my heart, but they also make me laugh so much, like with Scott picking up, thinking he's going to grab a drink, and he picks up a candle instead when he's seen when he's going to loan Jason some money.
And that's right after he says, "Oh, you can rely on me," and then he drinks a candle.
It's so funny.
But also there's a bit of the party where I'm like, tap on his shoulder, I'm like, Scott, we need to talk about this money thing. And he looks around, he's like, trust me, I've got it under control. And he's dressed as a clown.
Yeah.
He's like a clown's face on. It's like, that's not, no, it's not.
He
good.
winds up being a pretty good mime though, so
It's actually a pretty good mime. Yeah. No, we're really lucky to have those, to have the supporting cast that we do. And I think, shows that you want to stick with need to be populated by a cast of people that you want to hang out with, that need to be, and also Robin Cara, who plays Jen, I think is really good.
She's
really
so
excellent.
funny.
And the folks who play our parents, they're really important too. And I really like that dynamic.
Oh, I was just about to say my favorite of all the supporting characters is probably the dad who just, you could turn and he just shows up with a hammer. He's ready to fix everything. Reminds me of my dad and father-in-law. Or when he's like, no, I can't intentionally put asbestos in your attic. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's funny, but like his love language, he might not be able to articulate his love and affection, but he's able to do it by fixing a door.
Yeah, love languages come in different ways. Sometimes it's being Mr. Fix It or Mrs. Fix It. All right, well, we've mentioned a bunch of the characters, but one of the most important characters, if you ask me, is the location itself. Camden and sort of the lock and the canal and all those great scenes by the water there. How cool is it and important to you? Do you think that setting plays in, as well as sort of that great British sense of humor too?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it depicts that part of London in such a gorgeous way. So it's also so lovely to film around there. It's so like it's our home, it's where we live. So that feels really special. And yeah, it's so important. I'm so glad that gets to go global, this like kind of depiction of Camden, and seeing the Heath. Like I think in series 1 we filmed on Hampstead Heath, which is one of my favorite parts of London to be. Yeah, it's really a London that I know, and yeah, I'm glad other people get to see it.
Yeah, you're like my favorite shows, the cities that they're set in. Like we're in DC right now, and it feels like being in House of Cards or whatever. And then, being in Philly yesterday. Like Philadelphia is one of my favorite films. And
oh my God, talk about a movie that changed my life and everybody's life.
Incredible movie. Like I actually was, because Esther's not seen it, and I actually just showed her the opening sequence of Philadelphia, which is just all beautiful shots of like the camera going past and people waving and stuff. Like,
to the Springsteen song.
The Springsteen. I was just thinking that, like, so Jonathan Demme makes the film. He's like, I'm going to see if Bruce Springsteen will write a song for it. Bruce Springsteen does, and he comes back with that. Like, imagine how buzzed Jonathan Demme was when he got that back. Like,
it won. I think it won the Oscar. That song, yeah.
It's an incredible.
And Neil Young closes the movie out.
And then Neil Young closes it. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, I know that Jonathan Demme was a massive music guy. Yeah. Like Rachel's Getting Married is a sort of like testament to his love of music.
Sure.
But yeah, like Better Things is a great show, and LA is such a big part of it. Seinfeld and New York, and now us with that little nook of North London. It's great to have that place out there, because I was born and raised in London. I love my city. In many ways, I identify with being a Londoner over being English. It's like a sort of nation state, London. A fantastic city. So it's great to have it out there. Yeah.
It's also like London in itself, every little pocket, if I feel like it does have its own character. So North London specifically is so different to West London, to East London, to Southeast. I guess it's the sense of it, the colors of it, the kind of the smells of it. I feel like this show couldn't be anywhere else but that place.
Yeah.
I feel like
it's so intrinsically linked, and it's so wild. My wife and I are watching, Ted Lasso, trying the Ricky Gervais Afterlife. There's all these shows set are in different parts of that same, area. And I'm like, it's just some of the best work is coming out of there. But then the other night we put on Life of Pi, and I see Rafe doing and was it an American or a Canadian accent? I guess we're like, where's the British accent?
I actually don't know. Canadian or an English. I guess it was vaguely Canadian. Well, I'm playing Jan Martel, who was the guy who wrote Life of Pi. I guess was a Canadian. But I that was a weird thing, because that whole part had been shot with another actor already. That whole part was shot with Tobey Maguire.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Why'd they recut it, if you don't mind me asking?
Secrets, like, that's out there.
Okay.
So they shot the whole movie, and then they asked me to come in, and we reshot that whole section with me instead of Tobey Maguire. And I spent 3 weeks with the genius that is Ang Lee, and the late great Irfan Khan, who's no longer with us, one of the world's finest actors and one of India's greatest ever exports.
Yeah.
So that was a really special period of time.
Yeah. Well, thanks for diving into that, and you'll have to bring a reference back. Rafe, you can go with the tiger down a boat down the Camden, the canal there or something. I don't know how we can tie it back into trying, but I'm trying. Awesome. Well, I know we're up against the clock, so just real quick, what else can we expect from the rest of season 3? I don't want, definitely don't spoil any specific plots. So we'll talk general terms. I know we got financial problems with the flat. We're teasing some past family members maybe coming back in the mix with the kids involved and etc. But what else can we expect in broad terms?
Oh gosh, yeah, in broad terms, that's so hard.
It's so hard.
It's so hard without revealing things, but I think there are a lot more things to come, particularly with potential new old family members popping in.
Okay. Yeah, and I think a great season of a TV show, which has been up and running for a couple of seasons, great mark of a season is that it satisfies an audience and also compounds expectations. You need a few twists and turns, you need a few surprising things to happen, but you want some loose ends tied up too. You want answers for things, and I think this will deliver that. I'd be happy doing this show for a few more years to come. So fingers crossed.
Yeah. So tie up those loose ends, but keep posing new questions and keep us hungry for more. We love it. Well, we keep making as many as you want. We'll keep watching it. It's one of the best shows on TV right now. So again, everybody, it is Trying season 3 on Apple TV Plus. Rafe and Esther, thanks so much for doing this. And you got to watch Philadelphia. Come on. Tom Hanks and Denzel. Come on.
It's hilarious. I feel like Rafe really outed me, because when you started talking about Philadelphia, I nodded and I was like, yes. I had seen it, and then Rafe instantly was like,
no, but I've sent you 2 scenes. I sent you a scene from it before with Denzel and Tom Hanks when he listens to Maria Callas. I sent you that before.
You did, yeah, but that's not really the whole film.
No,
I did.
But you've been going around telling people you've seen it for ages.
I have, yeah.
I'm sure there's one that you've seen that he hasn't. I'm sure you could, ding him back.
There is,
No, she's not seen one thing that I haven't.
He's the cinephile. All right. Well, thanks for doing this. We appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for your help.
All right. Be well.
Bye now.
Bye.